We say in sales there's a necessary balance between courage and consideration. If you have too little of either one, it's usually going to cause some problems. And I would say most salespeople err on the side of consideration. They want clients to like them, they want to be friendly, they want to gain acceptance, approval. If you happen to be the kind of person who likes to expand your sense of courage, to be courageous, sales is definitely the field to go into. You get so many chances to encounter, any insecurities, fears, or doubts. They're going to come up somewhere in the sales process. As it turns out, the learning curve, when you try to gain a new skill, a new sales skill, a new way of thinking, a new way of speaking, a new way of acting, which is going to be discontinuous and usually uncomfortable with what you're used to, it turns out that the learning curve actually goes down before it goes up. It takes time, practice, certainly application. So there's a courage, there's a leap of faith that if you at least see on the far side, if it resonates with you, if intuitively, intellectually, emotionally say, that's a skill I want to have, then there's this courage to actually get worse before you get better. So you need courage to push back on things that don't make sense. Or if you're talking, they say, well, one thing we want you to know is we don't have any budget for this. You got to be able to say, well, then, so I guess you can't buy anything. I guess you're stuck. I guess you're just going to keep on losing because you can't buy a solution. Now, that's said without consideration. So you need the courage to hear clearly that which makes sense and that which does not, to hear yellow lights or objections or doubts and concerns and actually slow down and deal with them. And yet with what we call good emotional intelligence, you have to say it in a way that doesn't piss people off or say, well, hey, get out of here. So it's a balance of courage and consideration. And, look at your own situation, see if maybe that's a little out of balance, and having a little bit more courage to get real, to be authentic with what you see is happening, if that one actually served both you and the client a little bit more favorably. Have courage. Just balance it with consideration.